Hello and welcome back to Building Wilda.
So, the arts and crafts project is becoming a set of stairs for Wilda.
In this episode, Axel is working on building the steps to the mast. So keep watching to find out how did it go for us with this building project.
No!
What?
Yes!
After having spent some time back home in Europe, we are excited to be back in Australia and to share more about our wonderful project, Building Wilda. In case this is the first time you're watching, Wilda is a Schionning Wilderness 1340 sailing catamaran that has spent too many years in a shed in Australia without being finished. Axel bought the boat in 2019 and since then, with COVID, jobs and everything in between, we managed to make a few trips down under and made some progress on the build. Of course, with a massive project like this one, we are not yet done. But we are pushing forward and we do hope that sometime soon we will be out there on the water. In case we managed to spark your interest to find out more about building Wilda, what changes we made on the boat and how did it go, do have a look at our previous videos to see where we started and where we are now. So, today's project is building Wilda's steps to the mast. The arts and crafts project started with some thinking and measuring and making the cardboard templates for the steps. From there, the product design evolved into the steps that you are soon going to see.
And out here, I'm still working on my arts and crafts project. So, the arts and crafts project is becoming a set of stairs for Wilda.
We started with building the smaller 4 steps first, 2 for each side of the boat to help us reach the salon roof. Since we thought cardboard wouldn't be strong enough, they are made of small pieces of laminated foam glued together. For the medium step that goes in front of the mast under the larger step, we decided to fill the sides with the thicker foam to help us give it a nice shape.
These 2 steps for each side, and then 2 big steps that'll go forward of the mast. So these I finished shaping yesterday, sanding, shaping, and I'll put some glass on them today. And the big step that goes closest to the mast, I didn't have a pre-glassed sheet that was big enough, so I glassed this yesterday. Turned out pretty good. This is the bottom of the step that's going up there. So 2 layers of some pretty heavy glass here, more than enough. I just want something really stiff, and I'll see if I need to reinforce this at all after putting these on. This will be the side of this step, and then they'll be shaped a little bit prettier than this. No!
What?
Yes! For a second I thought I had glued these together wrong, but I did check 15 million times yesterday, and yeah, and I got it right. Anyway, these two supports will hold this step up top of the mast. So today I'll need to shape these so they fit properly and construct the front end as well as any support I might need here in the center. That's my plan. So I'm not working in the cleanest workshop here, but I'm also not working with the most structural pieces of glass, so I'm not too concerned about that, building a step. It's not rocket science. And this is not structural foam, and I'm only using it to give the steps shape. This is structural foam with glass, and that's what's giving the step its strength. Yeah, not too worried.
The next day, once all the main components of the big step were glued together, we could turn it and give it more strength with fiberglass from the inside.
So this is the underside of the step that's going up under the mast step. And what I did now was I measured out some glass, chopped it in half, well, the tape in half, and just glued these tapes on, reinforcing these corners. And this is gonna take an elephant, you know. There's no way I need all this strength, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So the only thing that isn't quite kosher here is XPS foam here. It's a fine polystyrene foam of some sort, used for foundations of houses, and you can use it for making refrigerators and stuff like that, and for insulation, but it's not a structural foam as such. So, but it'll hold up to epoxy, and I tested yesterday. It also holds up to some polyester filler. So yeah, I can use it to give some shape to whatever I'm building here, and in this case a step. It's so much easier to round this off than it would have been to put a proper foam and like curve it around, or have several thick pieces that are thick enough to take that curve. This is just going to be easier, and all the strength is here. So this is just decoratia.
Now that the big step was brought together, the little ones need some attention. The underside glassing for them as well. But like any other boat project, some sanding first to prepare the surface. Only a few of you probably don't know yet that the epoxy glue that we are using takes some time to fully cure, so we need to wait a while before continuing with the next step in our arts and crafts project. We usually leave overnight the components that were glued and move on with the next task the next day.
So I have glassed the inside of these steps here. This is a bunch of prefabricated panels glued together, and I assume this is pretty strong without this glass, but now this will definitely be held together. even with somebody as heavy as myself stepping on it. And the plan is now to wrap each step with one layer of glass this way, and then that's it's done. And the same for this big step. So this thing goes under the mast. The other big step goes a little bit forward of that, and these four, they'll go on the side of the salon, just in front of the cockpit, so you have an access to the roof from there. It's a lot of steps, but they're needed to get up safely because of all the slopey angles on the boat. It would get really slippery and probably pretty dangerous without that. So all the steps have been glassed on the inside now, and this is basically just holding these parts together more than they were held together before. It's they're super strong. In addition to the glass, or all of the epoxy, they're glued together with the glass skins on each panel being glued together. I'll glass them on the outside, so I'll wrap glass around the edge of all of these smaller steps. This big step isn't quite there. I didn't have a pre-glassed panel for the top step here, so I glassed my own. So what I'll do today is I'll put glass on the top here. I'll round off the edges, make it look pretty. I'll put the glass on the step, and then tomorrow I can decore this and to strengthen the edge, and then I can fill glass around the step as well. So before I start with any glassing, I'll do some cleaning up on all of the steps. Some real precision engineering this. So there's no point in me doing this any neater than this right now, because there's a big gap here, and that was expected from the other day. So what I'll do today, when I'm glassing the top here, I will also fill this gap so that I can get it nice tomorrow or the day after. Maybe the day after. Maybe I won't fill this because I need to decore this as well. What I could of course do is remove some of this now, put a filler in there and glass the whole thing. I could do that. Seems to be the way to go, but I have a feeling I'll put myself in all sorts of trouble by doing that, so I'll just keep it simple, do one layer at a time, do the glass on the top, then I'll fix the edges, and then I'll glass the whole back or front edge. and then it's ready for fairing and gluing to the boat. That's what I'll do. You wanna always like have things go fast, do as many steps as you can at one point. It just backfires too often, and then you have to redo, and that just takes longer.
Thanks for watching! We will continue the arts and crafts project next week. If you enjoy our videos, do subscribe and hit that like button. It's a nice, easy way to encourage us to keep up the work. And do leave a comment down below if you'd like to stay in touch. We have a new update video every Sunday.